With both Disney and Marvel already panicking over Ironheart episodes 1 through 3 and the ongoing ratings disaster that it is, we already know that those out there like Dominique Thorne, the main actress of the show who plays Riri Williams, after really going after fans and really going after the critics, it's only making matters worse for both Disney and Marvel.
Ironheart was supposed to be the heir to Tony Stark, a teenage prodigy strapping destiny to her back in a blaze of repulsor fire. Instead, 2 weeks after launch, the armor already feels like a museum piece nobody asked to tour. What went wrong? Buckle up. This is the rise and fall of Riri Williams, a cautionary tale about how Marvel tried to 3D print Legacy and jammed the printer halfway. It began with a single page, 5 silent panels, and a dorm room door propped open at 3 a.m. In Invincible Iron Man Volume 3, Number 7, May 2016, writer Brian Michael Bendis and artist Mike Deodato slipped a new face into the Marvel Universe, a 15-year-old MIT freshman quietly reverse-engineering a Mark 41 breastplate from campus scrap. No monologue, no codename, just the spark of a girl named Riri Williams determined to outthink Tony Stark on her own terms. Bendis has said the idea struck while watching his adopted black daughters leaf through comics that didn't look like them. He wanted a genius who could stand in the room with Stark, Banner, T'Challa, and belong. In early interviews, he dismissed rumors of a corporate mandate.
Now, one thing about Bob Iger is that we know that I, along with many others out there, like to call him Bob Liger, because all this guy does is lie to the audience, he lies to the shareholders, he lies to anybody out there, in order to really kind of string them along into the following year.
I created her by myself and didn't ask permission. The art team modeled Riri's features on actress Sky Jackson, hoping readers would see an unmistakably black heroine under the faceplate. Within 2 issues, Riri upgraded from background prodigy, full debut Invincible Iron Man number 9, to Stark's hand-picked protege, arriving as Marvel's publishing slate was deep in its all-new, all-different diversity wave. Miles Morales wore the webs, Kamala Khan stretched the misbrand, Jane Foster hefted Mjolnir. Riri's turn to inherit the armor made headlines in Time, Wired, and Teen Vogue before her first suit design was even finalized. The rush of publicity created sky-high expectations and instant scrutiny. Some fans cheered a black girl in the red and gold. Others questioned why none of the original creative team were black women, worrying Riri might read like a marketing avatar rather than a lived-in character. Bendis answered criticism by doubling down on brilliance. He installed an AI copy of Tony Stark inside Riri's helmet, letting her banter with a ghost mentor while leading post-Civil War II Avengers missions.
Tonight is the finale of Ironheart.
What's that?
And if it feels like, yeah, exactly, what's that? If you feel like, wait a minute, didn't it just start? Yep. Marvel decided to do the unprecedented thing that they've never done with one of their shows and just broke it just into 2. Couldn't even give it 3 weeks.
Yet the instant legend shortcut, genius with no grind, felt unearned to longtime readers who had watched Stark's arc span 50 years of flaws and failures. Sales mirrored that tension. The first Ironheart solo, 2017, opened strong but slid below Marvel's top 50 within a year. By issue number 12, the book folded despite respectable trade numbers. Evidence that curiosity can spike orders, but sustained love requires roots. Still, Riri's conceptual blueprint was powerful. A Chicago prodigy scarred by neighborhood violence, funneled into MIT at 15. Armor hacked from campus dumpsters, refined in borrowed garage space. A heart-shaped chest reactor. Branding guru Joe Quesada dubbed the codename Ironheart, insisting Legacy must beat, not just glow. Marvel bet that blueprint could leap mediums, and by late 2020, Kevin Feige slotted Riri for a Disney Plus series, fast-tracking her cameo in Black Panther: Wakanda Forever.
Now, one thing about Ironheart is that, yes, we do know that the last 3 episodes will be debuting tonight, by the way, really fulfilling the show for Season 1, and I highly doubt that there's going to be a Season 2, based on the ratings disaster that it is, based on the critics really calling this show out for what it is. But one thing is for certain is that this is a show that nobody asked for.
But the seed of every later misfire was already visible on that lonely MIT page. Brilliance introduced without the messiness of becoming. Viewers had only seen the spark. They'd never smelled this odor, never watched the sleepless nights that make an icon feel real. Because when a legacy skips the struggle stage, the silence that follows isn't backlash, it's indifference, and indifference is deadlier than hate. Ironheart's first headline moment looked promising. Issue number 1, November 14, 2018, cracked the Diamond charts at number 45, with 40,739 copies ordered, respectable for a brand new solo and well ahead of many legacy spin-offs. But enthusiasm evaporated almost as fast as it arrived. 1 year and 11 installments later, issue number 12 eked onto the list at number 205, with 9,011 copies, an 80% collapse in retailer confidence that telegraphed cancellation before the ink dried.
This is also a show that is based on a comic back in 2016 that was cancelled, quite frankly. That's also another fact that people have to realize. But focusing on Disney CEO Bob Iger and Kevin Feige, they are desperately trying to oversell this show.
The slide started even earlier, when a J. Scott Campbell variant cover showing a midriff-bearing, bedroom-posed Riri ignited backlash for sexualizing a 15-year-old. Marvel yanked the cover within 24 hours, but the damage was done. The spotlight shifted from who Riri is to what adults were projecting onto her. Marvel tried life support. Guest spots from Shuri, a Champions tie-in, even planting seeds for Mephisto lore that wouldn't sprout until the Disney Plus series. None of it slowed the attrition. Without the grind, the genius felt granted, not earned, and readers drifted away in polite silence, the kind of silence louder than hate in comic shops. Yet, Hollywood abhors a vacuum, and while print readers walked out quietly, the MCU kicked open a side door and hurled Riri straight into Wakanda's most crowded funeral. 2022's Black Panther: Wakanda Forever was already juggling grief, geopolitics, and an undersea empire when Riri parachuted in with a half-finished suit. Fans blinked. Who was she? Why should we care? The film never slowed to answer.
Marvel's show, at least since the era of the MCU has begun, that has so quietly come and gone with so little notice and so little fanfare that I put up a review, or we were talking about it in one of the videos I was reading through the comments. We were talking about Ironheart, and a whole ton of people reading it. I didn't even know this thing came out yet.
Instead, Marvel promised, "Trust us, her solo show will explain everything." The clock started ticking, but behind studio doors, the clock wasn't ticking, it was grinding. Disney's diversity push was once branded Reimagine Tomorrow, a marquee program that plastered internal slides, hiring goals, and even vintage film disclaimers across the company. But an internal memo leaked on February 11th, 2025, revealed that the initiative had been quietly downsized to a talent strategy subset inside HR, its standalone team dissolved, and its metrics stripped from executive bonus formulas. Employees were told the new objective was business outcomes first, inclusion in service of story. In practice, that meant fewer DEI officers in green light meetings and a company-wide purge of the check-the-box slides that once accompanied every pitch. Yet the marketing beats for Ironheart still leaned on the very optics the C-suite was retreating from. The mixed messaging bred cynicism on both sides. Bob Iger reassured shareholders on April 3, 2025, that Disney would entertain first and foremost, distancing himself from what critics dubbed a woke detour. Less than 3 months later, Hollywood Trades reported another round of layoffs targeting film and TV development staff, even as Ironheart's social campaign blasted hashtags like #BlackGirlGenius and #ArmorOfProgress across TikTok.
You know, unless I watched your show, and my wife doesn't actually watch my show that much, she says, unless I watched your show, I wouldn't even know the show existed. And it got us talking a little bit, and I was thinking about it a little bit more, about the fact that I don't think there has been a Marvel movie.
Viewers sensed the contradiction. A studio publicly dialing back DEI infrastructure while simultaneously selling Riri Williams as its flagship proof of progress. The result? a narrative that felt more like corporate whiplash than creative conviction, and audiences tuned out the sermon before the second episode finished buffering. Then reality PV chaos joined the writer's room. Principal photography wrapped November 2022, but strikes, schedule shuffling, and internal quality alarms parked the show on a shelf for 30 months. Enter Marvel's emergency cameo kit, Mephisto. Rumored for years, the devil finally materialized, played by Sacha Baron Cohen, in the finale no less. The reveal felt less like destiny fulfilled and more like a neon sign screaming, "Please trend us." Trending is only half the battle. Retention fights back in the ratings. Disney Plus lit the fuse with a 3-episode drop on June 24th. First 48-hour Luminate lists? Nowhere. Rotten Tomatoes audience score slid to 55%. IMDb stalled at 3.7 out of 10. Critics praised bold street-level magic, but fans scrolled past. The silent data wall spoke volumes.
And it got me wondering about, and by the way, I don't think this is the worst thing they've done. I think Secret Invasion is worse than this.
Yeah.
I think it's better than Secret Invasion. That's not saying a lot, but it's not the worst thing they've done. Not very good, but it's not the worst thing they've done.
If Ironheart were killing it, Disney's socials would be drowning in infographics. Predictably, the blame cannon swiveled toward the stands. Some cast interviews hinted that pushback equaled bigotry, a familiar shield in the streaming era. Yet Disney's own culture war retreat contradicted that narrative. By December 2024, the company quietly scrubbed a trans subplot from a Pixar series. By February 2025, it downscaled DEI metrics in executive bonuses. Corporate strategy: step away from activism. Marketing strategy: still sell Ironheart as activism. No wonder viewers felt gaslit. But the Ironheart saga isn't just a single malfunctioning suit. It's a symptom of a factory recall. Kevin Feige once threaded 23 films into a cultural juggernaut. Post-Endgame, he's racing to crown successors before the audience finishes its popcorn. Release calendars shift, budgets balloon, cameos masquerade as character arcs. Ironheart was supposed to anchor the Champions Young Avengers wave, yet her show now limps as proof that lightning bottled once can still leak.
And the last 3 episodes are coming out tonight. And, I was talking to Anne this morning because she's got this thing she's got to do like at 6, and that's when the show comes out. So I'm going to have to watch it without her because I got to do my follow-up video after it and all that kind of stuff. But she was mentioning
Legacy heroes can't be 3D printed. They have to walk, stumble, and bleed first. Ironheart's armor gleams on screen, but Legacy isn't chrome. It's dents, scorch marks, and sleepless nights in a cave. Until Marvel lets Riri Williams earn those dents, every attempt to crown her successor will clang hollow. The MCU isn't dying. It's reminding its architects that stories weld hearts. Checklists don't. So if you're Disney, the fix isn't another surprise cameo. It's the oldest trick in the hero's playbook. Start with a broken kid, give her time to fail, and let audiences choose to follow. Until then, the suit stays empty, and the silence in the data will keep echoing.